performance of the Ghana's police ladies as they head into the WAFU Zone B CAF Women's Champions League qualifiers in the Ivory Coast from Sunday. We'll also look at the transfer issues, Alexander Isak and other issues. Also preview the weekend's games and look at all other upcoming issues. Stay tuned. I'm Eugene OFORI. This is Sports World. When we come back from this break, I'll introduce my guest and then we'll begin the discussions.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. A delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abe. Come on Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to kiss again.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Imagine a sport without rules, a game without passion, an arena without chance. What drives the champions? What fuels the rivalry? What separates the winners from the rest in the world of sports?
On the show, we shall start by interrogating your athlete health matters with expert insight from our renowned medical professionals, providing you with actionable advice and cutting-edge knowledge to prevent injuries and optimize performance. Then we'll connect you to the talking points where we'll bring you the big names, the famous faces, and leading voices on our radar in the world of sports for a lively conversation.
No matter how situations change, we will always have our Charlies. Good times, tough times. We day for each other. We never settle for less, because we are Charlies. Charlie. Together, we are gold. Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons under 18 years, not recommended for pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back from the break. Remember that this is still ABC Sports World with me, Eugene OFORI. Well, today we do not have James OHENBA marking. He's down. We pray for good health for him. But replacing him and making his debut on the show, we've got Mohammed Sharif, a long-time friend, and he's also a sports analyst, a sports journalist, someone with in-depth knowledge of Ghanaian football and then also the football and sporting sector as a whole. Well, Sharif, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Also, I need to put it on record that he's a Manchester United fan as well. And so later on in the show, we'll delve into conversations about Manchester United. But for now, well, welcome to the show. And well, first off, this is talking points. The segment is talking points. So we'll head into the conversations, and we'll be looking at the African combined 11 of the. Remember that this week or the previous weekend, the English Premier League kicked off, the Spanish La Liga also kicked off, the French League also kicked off. This weekend we would see the Bundesliga and the Serie A also joining, and so by the end of this weekend all the major leagues would have resumed. And so we used the Premier League, the La Liga and the French League as the basis for the first African combined 11 of the season, and we started with this week, and so very soon we'll have it on the screens if they could put on the screen for us, and then we'll have a discussion. So we'll present to you the ABC Sports African Combined 11 of the week, and then thereafter we'll have a conversation about the players. So if I remember that this week we saw Mohamed Kudus in action. He made his debut for Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. Antoine Semenyo also, after extending his stay at Bournemouth until 2030, also made his first start for the Cherries. Also, Mohamed Salah also in action for Liverpool and other players. So if we have that on the screen, we'll show that to you, the African Combined 11 of the week there. Well, so first off, we'll start with, whilst they get it on the screen for us, we'll start with the goalkeeper this week. Yeah, so that's it on the screen. Lawrence Atizigi there in post. He's the goalkeeper for the Black Stars, also goalkeeper for St. Gallen in the Swiss League there. His team beat their opponent by 13 goals to 0. I think that's a wrong insert. The image there is that of Edouard Mendy, but it's supposed to be Lawrence Atizigi there. Then we are going to a 4-2-3-1 formation. At left back, we've got Reynaldo Mandava. Reynaldo Mandava, for Ghanaian fans, if you remember the moment where Richard Ofori's hand touched the ball and led to the corner, it was Reynaldo Mandava who headed the ball to equalize for Mozambique in that 2-2 draw against Ghana, even though the Black Stars took a 2-0 lead at first half. Reynaldo Mandava is a former Atletico Madrid player. He's the first Mozambican to make it into the Premier League, and he made his debut in a 3-0 win over West Ham, Mohamed Kudus' former team, and so he earns a place in that team, the Africa Combined 11 of the week. This is our first ever for this season. Then we've got Rami Ben-Sebaini, formerly of Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's now with Borussia Dortmund. Over the weekend, they played in the DFB Pokal first round, and he helped them to keep a clean sheet over the weekend. He's an Algerian and plays for Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga as well. Then we've got Clinton Mata. He's an Angolan and plays for Olympique Lyon. He helped their club over the weekend in a 1-0 win in the League R there. Then we've got Enzo Boyomo. He is relatively an unknown player, but he's a player to look out for this season. He plays for Osasuna in the Spanish La Liga and also plays for the Cameroonian national team. Yesterday he was resolute, even though his club Osasuna lost by a 1-0 following a very dubious and controversial penalty awarded to Kylian Mbappe. He proved a resolute defender, making sure that the deficit was only one goal, which was by penalty, and so Enzo Boyomo makes it to the right back position. And we've got a double pivot of two Senegalese midfielders, Pape Gueye and Habib Diarra. Pape Gueye scored a goal for Villarreal in the Spanish La Liga in the 2-0 win over Real Oviedo, where coincidentally is also another Ghanaian, Kwesisibo Simon, there. And then remember also Thomas Partey also played just a few minutes, about 8 minutes in that game there. Habib Diarra is also Senegalese, but he's in the Premier League. He's made his debut in the Premier League in a 3-0 win over West Ham as well. Then up top, we've got Semenyo, Kudus and Salah, two Ghanaians, one Egyptian. Semenyo scored 2 goals in a 4-2 defeat at Anfield. Remember, at the time, they were losing by 2-0. Semenyo brought the deficit to 2-2 before Bournemouth ended up losing the game 4-2. Mohamed Kudus also provided 2 goals on his first Premier League debut, assisting Richarlison in a 3-0 defeat of Burnley. Then Mohamed Salah, as usual, scored the goal for Bournemouth in that 4-2 victory over 4-2 victory over Bournemouth. They scored for Liverpool. And then Carl Etae-Young, last season he was in the Villarreal U20 or Team B team. He's been promoted to the Team A after the departure of Tieno Barry from Villarreal to Everton. And Carl Etae-Young, young Cameroon striker, has taken the league by storm, scored a goal, another goal for Villarreal. So 2 African players scored for Villarreal, Carl Etae-Young and then Pape Gueye, 2 African players scoring for them. On the bench, we got Pape Sarr. Pape Sarr is also a Senegalese midfielder who plays for Tottenham Hotspur. He provided one of the assists for Spurs' 3rd goal, which I think Brennan Johnson scored. Lassina Sinayoko is a teammate of Gideon Mensah in Osher, he scored the goal for them over the weekend. Cameron Dumbia also plays in the Liga. He's also a Malian player, scored the goal. Lawrence Ejekun also provided an assist. He's a Black Stars player, also plays in the Belgian Pro League with Cercle Brugge. Shamsdin Taubi plays for Sunderland in the English Premier League. He moved from the Belgian League. He's Moroccan, by the way. Brilliant player. Sehu Girassi as well, Guinean striker, played for Dortmund and helped them to win the DFB Pokal. So this African combined 11 of the week, 4-2-3-1. We've got Mohamed Sharif here. Sharif, what are your thoughts on this African combined 11 of the week?
Sottie, thanks for having me. I think that when you look at the first 11, for instance, we have the likes of Kudus, Semenyo, and then Mo Salah. And when you look at this front three, I think that they can even compete with any of the top European national teams. Because Kudus, Salah, and Semenyo, when you look at Semenyo, his ball career is unreal. Because Semenyo gets the ball and he's driving at defenders. You look at the goal he scored against Liverpool. You see, someone of his type, if it was any other player who received that kind of reception at Anfield, the player would, might be down and could not continue like that. But when you look at his resilience, his level of his mentality, he put everything aside and he was still able to deliver. And when you look at Mohamed Kudus as well, because even sometimes big players feel nervous whenever they go into a new team. I remember Ronaldo saying that his second coming to United, on his debut, they asked him and he was like, he was even nervous. So imagine Mohamed Kudus walking into this Tottenham team, a team that is coming back of winning the European title, winning title so many years, and looking at the pressure because their captain wasn't around. He has left the club, and then Kudus was handed a debut at a position which is not his favorite, but yes, so he was able to deliver. And Mo Salah cannot keep his name off the headlines because the game was almost over, and when you look at the way and manner he scored that particular goal, if it was any other player, the player wouldn't have chased the ball, but Mo Salah, as usual, he always gets himself involved and he was able to get that goal. And when you look at Ronaldo, for instance, when he was playing for Atletico Madrid, he was a very solid player. Now he joined Sunderland. He joined the English Premier League, Sunderland, and then he's performing very well as well. I think Sunderland have been able to assemble a very good squad because when you look at West Ham United, they're a very solid side as well. I think that even though the coach has not been able to get them to play the way he wants them to play, from last season when he joined West Ham United, they've been struggling all along, and then they've moved on into the new season and they are still struggling. But when you look at Sunderland, I think that they've assembled some pretty good squad, including a lot of African players in the team. My only worry is that when it is time for AFCON, they might struggle a little bit, but they've assembled a very good squad in that particular team. So for me, I think this is my take on these particular players. They've been able to show that on any given day, given the opportunity on the big stage, they can deliver and they can put Africa on the map.
Well, those are the thoughts of Mohamed Sharif, our sports analyst guest on the show today. But still on that, let's look at the Alan Shearer's team of the week. If we could put that on the screen for us, we've got some statistics. So even though we did our combined 11 of the week, this is of the African combined 11 of the week. This is the Premier League's team of the week, match week won by Alan Shearer, who is the Premier League's top goal scorer. He has put David Raya of Arsenal in post. He's got the back three of Ballard from Sunderland, Dan Ben from Newcastle, and Mark Gay from Crystal Palace, who's done some conversations around him. They're due to transfer rumors there. He's got Mohamed Kudus as the wing back. Semenyo also has the wing back there. So I think we are right here. Kudus and Semenyo made into our combined 11 of the week, and then he's there. Then he's put Habib Diarra as well. So we also write Habib Diarra. And he's put Tijani Reinders of Manchester City, Richarlison, Haaland, and Chris Wood. No mention of Mohamed Salah in there. What do you make of this team? And he's given the Sunderland manager, Régis Lebris, as the manager of the week. In his debut in the Premier League, he's been given manager of the week.
I think when you look at Alan Shearer's team, it's not a bit far from what we did for the African team. And when you look at his team, for instance, Dan Ben, And I think people don't talk much about Damben. He has been very consistent for Liverpool. And when you look at, sometimes he plays as a left back, sometimes too as a centre back. I think the coach decided to play him as a centre back when Steve Bosman got injured. And then when they were having the likes of Livramento and co as well. So it made sense for the coach to put him at the centre back role, and he delivered. And he has been one of the best defenders in the Premier League for the past 2 seasons, if you ask me. So I think I completely agree with him putting Damben over there. For Maguire, I think he's a brilliant defender by all standard. You look at the fact that the likes of Liverpool, and at a point even Chelsea wanted him back at the club. So clearly it tells you that he's a top defender, and a lot of clubs are monitoring his situation at Crystal Palace. But I think that looking at the performance of the likes of De Ligt, I think De Ligt should have been in the starting lineup for the defense, because for team of the week.
But if you look at this, the players on the screen, you would have noticed that for each team they avoided defeat. So I think that was key in the selection. And United lost over the weekend. Isn't this a United bias here at play?
Oh no, this is not a United bias, because when you look at someone like Gyökeres, for instance, he was completely pocketed by Matthäus De Ligt. Oh, of course.
So, but you use the word nervous for Kudus. What if Gyökeres was nervous on his debut, and maybe that's why he couldn't perform up to the level we were expecting of Gyökeres?
So, for instance, Gyökeres, for instance, he has been, he was struggling in the English Championship before he even moved to the Portuguese League. But coming back, he was coming back at the back of the season where he has scored so many goals. So clearly, when Erling Haaland was joining Manchester City, I don't think that a lot of players a lot of defenders were thinking about how to deal with Erling Haaland and looking at his physical presence. It was the same. It's the same thing to Gyökeres, because when you look at Gyökeres, his physicality is there. And when you look at the game against Crystal Palace, Maguire didn't have a lot of defensive duty as compared to Matthäus De Ligt. Because when you look at Maguire, I think that they were able to control the game so well against Chelsea. Because I believe that the coach has been able to drill the team so much that when they come up against any other opposition in the English Premier League, they are able to stand that particular team. When you look at the Carabao Cup, the Community Shield they played against Liverpool, you could clearly see that this is a very solid side. And they could possess the ball, they can give the ball to you and also sit back and rely on counter-attack, because they have a lot of players who can go past players with ease, like Eze and then Sa. And then also they have a striker who is very bulky and who is very strong on the ball in Mateta. And so for the defensive aspect of it, I think that Chelsea struggled because of the front line. Because you can clearly see that the only experienced player in there was João Pedro. And he was the centre forward, and he was man-marked by Maguire. And so a lot of balls wasn't getting to him. So I think that Maguire didn't even have so much to do with João Pedro. Because even Palmer, for instance, who was supposed to supply the ball to João Pedro, he was out of the game. They marked him out of the game. So he didn't have a lot of defensive duty as compared to Matthäus De Ligt.
Well, so that's the Alan Shearer's team of the week. Let's also look at the player of the week nominations. I think that's one of the innovations from the Premier League this season, where every week at the end of the week they will align a few players. Usually we see that at the end of the month for player of the month. I think that the Premier League has decided to make it more interesting by doing a player of the match week sort of nominations that we look through. So Dan Bala, the defender here, he makes it into Alan Shearer's team of the week, and then he makes it into the player of the match week nomination. Hugo Ekitike, the French player with Cameroonian heritage there, moved from Frankfurt to Liverpool this summer, his debut, and he scored.
I think he has settled in very well, because the Community Shield too, he scored. Even though some people wanted to say that he struggled and his first touch and those. You see, when you are a striker, it is not about your first touch, because when Haaland was joining Manchester City, it was the same argument that his first touch is poor, he doesn't track back, and then also he's not someone who can go past players with ease. But the most important thing of a striker is to score the goals. We have strikers who can have good play on the ball, but yes, so when it comes to scoring, they are struggling. Someone like Rasmus Højlund, for instance, he has a very good footwork, but he can't score goals. When you look at someone like Nicolas Jackson, Jackson has very, very good footwork, and that's the reason why sometimes Enzo Maresca decides to play him on the flanks, because he knows he has the ability to go past players. But when it comes to goal scoring, he struggled. Not saying that he didn't score enough goals, but he had so many opportunities that he could have even scored more as a contender for the Premier League Golden Boot. But yes, so he didn't take that particular opportunity. So for me, I think he's starting, Hugo Etike, he's starting and then scoring on his debut at Anfield. Will give him some huge boost, given the fact that Liverpool are also in the market looking for another striker. And if you are Hugo Ekitike, the only thing you can do is to just bank in the goal so that it will take their man off from looking for a different striker. Because signing you with that huge sums of money and then, yes, also looking out for another striker who costs them another 100 million is going to be a huge and healthy competition. So if you want them to take their mind off a different striker, then I think automatically you need to bang in the goals, and he did exactly that. So I think he had a brilliant debut, and then we are looking for, because Liverpool creates a lot of chances. Last season they scored over 80 goals. Yeah. Clearly it tells you that once the opportunity comes, he will be able to score more goals and virtually challenge for the Golden Boot as well.
Well, they're still on the screen. Erling Haaland scored 2 goals in that 4-0 thumping of Wolves at the Molineux Stadium. And then David Raya made several saves, and so he makes it into the Player of the Match Week nomination. Then the big one, Tijani Reinders, on his first invitation or introduction into the English football, he provided an assist and scored for Man City in that 4-0 thumping of Wolves. And so he makes it into the list. Richarlison also made it onto that list. Antoine Semenyo and Chris Wood. I think let's talk about Chris Wood as a player. He's a player also like Dan Ben, doesn't get a lot of shouts, not a lot of media attention, not a lot of goodwill around his name, but he seems to be quietly doing the work. He's not from a traditionally footballing country, which is New Zealand, but he has made a mark in the Premier League from his time at Burnley all the way to Newcastle, and then now at Nottingham Forest.
I think Chris Wood is hugely underrated, because when you look at his performances, he's not that kind of striker that he's someone who releases the ball one touch. Yeah. So he's always running so that you give him the ball. And he's always at the right place at the right time in the box. Because when you look at the coach, for instance, he is someone who favors a lot of long balls. Yeah. So when you hit the long balls, the duty of Chris Wood is to just get the ball and then get his runners off him, release the ball and then make a run into the box. And he's done so well, he's done brilliantly with that particular movement. So for me, I think that maybe if he was playing in any other team, he would have struggled. But when you look at the trajectory of Chris Wood, he has been doing brilliantly well for all the teams he has been playing for. So for me, I think that he's one of the brilliant players. But if you ask me whether he should make a jump to a bigger club, I don't think that he should make a jump to a bigger club. I think that he should still play with Nottingham Forest, because with Nottingham Forest, he will be consistent, he will get a lot of opportunities, and he will continue to score a lot of goals for the club. So for me, I think that he is doing brilliantly well, and he's up there with the best strikers in the English Premier League.
And then let's also look at the position of Tijani Reinders. A very good player. You also support AC Milan as well. So you saw, you know, one of the things that surprises me is the way in the Serie A they sell a lot of their talents for cheap. They sold Tijani Reinders. All the other clubs. Look at how AC Milan also sold Sandro Tonali a few years ago to Newcastle, and then it's almost like it was a big steal from Man City getting that player from AC Milan. And then now he walks into this team, replacing the big man Rodri, who is out injured, and on his debut, an assist and a goal. What a player and what an introduction to the league.
I think that for Tijani, you see, that is the kind of player every team needs. Because when you look at Real Madrid, when they were winning the Champions League back-to-back, they had a player like Toni Kroos. Because this player takes a lot of pressure from the defenders and then those around him. Because when you look at Tijani, for instance, he can receive the ball from the defenders, he can receive the ball from the goalkeeper, he can also make progressive passes, and he can score and assist as well. So he's a proper controller for Manchester City. I think that when you look at the way he plays, it's a bit different from Rodri. Yeah. Rodri can win the balls, he can make a lot of interception, and he scores screamers as well. But with Tijani, he calms things down, he controls the ball, he receives the passes, he distributes them so well, and he protects the ball as well. He's good with recoveries and everything. So he's the type of player Manchester City need. I'm looking at the way Guardiola is going to fuse him in the team when Rodri is back. I don't know whether he's going to, because the last time some of the Manchester City fans were saying that they need him to play as a typical number 8 and not as a number 6. Yeah. Because when he's playing as a number 8, he has the ability to distribute the ball to the forward players, and he has the ability to receive the ball as well. That takes a lot of pressure from Rodri if he's fit and he's playing, or anybody who partners him. That gives you a bit of room to rather do the defensive work for Tijani. And so for me, I think coming to the Premier League and doing the thing that he did over the weekend, I wasn't surprised at all, because when you watch him at AC Milan, he was the best player for AC Milan by far in the midfield, because when he received the ball and then he's making progressive passes, you see, when you watch the game against Man United versus Arsenal, a player like Martin Zubimendi, he was a bit nervous. And when you watch Zubimendi in his previous team, he was someone who made a lot of progressive passes. But when you watch the game against Manchester United, he was making a lot of sideways passes, and he didn't get the confidence. I think he was a bit afraid to make the progressive passes and then make a lot of mistakes. When you look at Tijani, for instance, maybe some may argue that it wasn't against a bigger opposition. Okay. But if you are a good player...
Bigger opposition?
Oh, for Wolves, I'm tipping them to go on relegation this season. Oh, yes, because they've sold all their quality players.
True. But if they've, okay, well, we're going to conversation about Wolves, but you continue.
They've sold all their quality. Someone may argue that it wasn't a top tier opposition, but I think when a player is doing well, you can clearly see it. It doesn't matter whether it is top opposition or not. Wolves have very solid midfielders in Gomez and Co. So I think that he did pretty well in his first game, and I think he's going to continue, because when you look at the Manchester City side, for instance, they are a team that loves to control. They want to have more of the ball, and Tijani helped them to do that perfectly.
Okay. Let's look at Richarlison before we move away from this conversation. Richarlison, particularly because last season he struggled a lot with goal scoring. And at a point, he even went through a mental breakdown, wept after scoring from a long goal drought and other things. And now on his first competitive start this season, he scores 2 goals. And he seems to be a revamped player. He seems to have gone through a bit of revival under new manager Thomas Frank. Talk to me about what you think is going on, and do you think this is this just a fluke, or this is something which is sustainable?
I don't think it's a fluke. When you watch Thomas Frank at Brentford, he wants players who are hard-working. He wants people who can run. He's not concerned about your abilities alone. He's concerned about someone who can do the job for him. So even if you are a big player and then you are not doing what is required of you, he wants to bench you. When you look at Richarlison, for instance, he's someone who has huge potential. We've seen what he did for Everton before joining Spurs. When he joined Spurs, unfortunately for him, he was having a lot of players there. And then the previous manager also favored Solanke ahead of him. And so, for instance, this coach coming in, he wants players who can make a lot of runs into the box, who can also dribble, and then who can involve the players around him.
Isn't that something you see in Solanke, or you don't see Solanke as someone who involves himself in the play?
I see Solanke involved himself in the play, but I think that Richarlison works a bit harder than Solanke, because when you look at Brentford, his former team, for instance, when you look at Mbeumo is someone who can run throughout the game for the entire 90 minutes without getting tired. When you look at the way his Brentford team plays, on any given day, they are making a lot of runs. And when you look at Richarlison, I think he does that perfectly. And so for me, I think that the coach is going to continue with him. Maybe at a point, he might like to give chance to Dominic Solanke, and if he's also able to do the kind of job he's expected to do, because this is a coach who wants his players to work so much off the ball. He's not concerned about what you can do on the ball. He's very much concerned about what you can do on the ball. And that is my big worry when it comes to Mohamed Kudus, because we all know that off the ball, Mohamed Kudus is not that kind of player who works so much or who works so hard. So that's my big concern about Mohamed Kudus playing under Thomas Frank. And I hope that Thomas Frank is able to get him to work so hard off the ball. And I think that is what he's getting from Richarlison, and that's the main reason why Richarlison is leading his line.
Well, we're speaking at length on Spurs and other clubs. Let's, for a bit of context, let's now look at the Premier League table after match week 1. Let's have that on the screen. We've seen Manchester City once again resume their lead at the top of the table, 3 points. So there we have it. The surprising one is that we see Sunderland second, Spurs third. So in the top 4, I think the only anomaly or the unusual thing we see there is Sunderland making it into the top 4. Nottingham Forest 5th, Arsenal 6th, Leeds United making a return at 7th, Brighton 8th, Fulham 9th, Aston Villa 10th, Chelsea 11th, Crystal Palace as well. And also the big one is that United ended the season 15th. I've resumed the season and are still 15th. Bournemouth are 16th, Brentford also 17th. And then let's look at the relegation battle. Burnley, West Ham, and then Wolves. Earlier you spoke about the fact that you see Wolves not making it into next season's Premier League. You were speaking about the fact that they've sold a lot of players, and that is why you think that they don't stand a chance. But they made some buys in the January transfer window. They brought 2 players, African players from Stade Rennes in France, Emmanuel Agbadou, the Ivorian centre back, and they brought Marshal Moneti from Zimbabwe as well. And then even though they let a lot of players go, they also made a few buys. They've even brought a Cameroonian midfielder as well. They've done a few not too high profile names. They've even got a player called Wolfe as well from the German Bundesliga. Isn't that enough for you?
I don't think so, because sometimes some of the teams get away with selling their big players, but I don't think Wolves is going to get away this time around. If it was a team like Everton, who are so resilient when it comes to staying in the Premier League, I would have said that, okay, Everton will stay in the Premier League. But with Wolves, I don't think they are going to stay in the Premier League. I think that when they started struggling with their former coach, who is at Nottingham Forest now, Nuno, when they started struggling with him, it was the same case. Nuno built a team and then the players leave to other big clubs. And in my respectful view, I think that they don't replace these players with the kind of quality they let go. When you look at a team like Brighton, when they are letting their big player leave, they replace that particular player with another quality player. Because you look at someone like when Caicedo left, they had Baliba. Yes, whenever a big player is leaving, they make sure they get a quality player to replace the person. But with Wolves, I don't see that. I don't see them replacing their players with quality players. They let Pedro Neto left, and then the likes of Diego Jota, a lot of quality players left the team. And since they left, I don't think they've replaced them with that same quality. So for me, I think that they are not going to stay in the Premier League. I think Sunderland will stay in the Premier League because they've made a lot of quality signings.
You spoke about the general transfer window where you believe that I think they have about 5 players, African players. I think Habib Diarra, Simon Adingra as well. Then Renato Mandava, and about I think then they have Taubi, who is also Moroccan. And so they have a large chunk of their team and the spine of the team being African players. And then from December to January, which could see about 6-7 match weeks their African players might be away. Don't you think that will affect them in their quest to stay in the league?
I don't think so, because when you look at the way they play, they are not a side that want to open up and show that, look, we are back in the Premier League and we want to compete with the big guys. They are a team that want to stay back, look at what the opposition wants to do and hit them on the break. Unlike other teams like Leeds, for instance, Leeds are not a team that always want to sit back. They want to open up and play. Whenever there is Norwich in the English Premier League, that's their style of play. They don't want to sit back. But when you come in the Premier League, the main focus is for you to stay in the Premier League. And then you build on that. So as you build on that, you try to adjust and be able to compete with the other big teams. When you walk into the Premier League, the only thing you can do is to stay in the Premier League. And so when you meet a team at your level, just like they dealt with West Ham United, when you meet a team at your level, even though I think West Ham is a bit higher in terms of they meeting Sunderland currently, but they were still able to beat West Ham United. And when you look at the way they set up to play, they are not a flamboyant side that you can say that, oh, with a better side, they can easily beat Sunderland. They stay compact and then rely on counter attack. When they get the ball, they can also play as well. So for me, I think when you look at the way they play, they are still going to stay in the Premier League. They are not going to be relegated.
Well, that's interesting. So if you say Sunderland won't be relegated and you believe Wolves will be relegated, which are the other two teams that will join Wolves in the relegation battle? And then you also give me the teams that you believe will be in the top four very quickly.
I think if Burnley still continues the way Company left them, like being open, they will still be relegated. And then also, if West Ham doesn't do their thing so well, they will also be relegated. So
you think that Leeds even stand a better chance than West Ham, even though West Ham have better players?
Yes, because they've been struggling since last season, and since Graham Potter took over, it hasn't been that great for West Ham United. So for me, I think that if they don't do things very well, and I believe that maybe he might be the first manager to be sacked in the English Premier League, because I've not seen enough. Yes, I've not seen enough from him to take West Ham United to the next level.
So you believe that it will follow? So Burnley, West Ham, Wolves, the way it is after match week 1, it is likely to end up that way. Quickly give me your top four before you go for this commercial break.
Manchester City, Liverpool, in no particular order. Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and then Chelsea.
Okay. I'm looking at the table because Manchester is already in the top 4. Liverpool is already in the top 4. But you said Arsenal and Chelsea. Well, Arsenal is 6th and Chelsea is 11th. Well, after match week 1, well, it's possible. So, well, that's it from Mohammed Sharif on the talking point here. We'll go for a short commercial break. When we return, we'll be looking at area take. He spoke on his top 4 expectations and then his expectations in terms of the relegation battle. Well, for area take, we spoke to some fans on also their expectations on the top 4 battle for the EPL for the 2025-2026 season. After this break, area take is next.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yeni na da da da. So pa mediane no abin.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to kiss keke.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome to the McLean Air Series. Ajay, I am Joe McLean, your guide to the smoky, dusty, cloudy, choky side of life. Pollution is real. Today we are visiting some places that pop with pollution. Just hold your breath. Let me mask up. Vehicle fumes have taken over the air, and soon this place will find it hard to breathe. According to the World Health Organization, as many as 28,000 people die every year in Ghana from air pollution. You live here, you breathe dirtier air than the whole of Accra. Look, let me show you. What an irony. No burning here. Ay, ya, 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 ya. No one is truly safe. Even the posh areas are not spared from the smoke. Look, we can't ignore this. Do something. Next stop, please. I welcome you all to 25 Gamma District. This is the Nglita Road. This place, everyone is called Brown. Mr. Brown, Miss Brown, Mrs. Brown. The children, they all bear the name Brown. For years, this road has been very dusty. Children cannot come out to play. People cannot breathe properly. And you dare not wear white in this community. But you see, wetting the road occasionally can be very helpful. But that is only temporary. Oh yes. You have a ball. Call 057-972-4072 or send WhatsApp. You can also speak to your assembly so we all can breathe freely. Remember, pollution kills.
This message was brought to you by Infinity 970 with support from Breathe Cities.
Welcome back from the break. This is still sponsored with me, Eugene of OFORI. Well, we just had a conversation with Mohammed Sharif on Talking Point. Well, up next is Area Take. Well, with Sharif, we spoke about the expectations of his expectations of the top four of the English Premier League at the end of the 2025-26 season. Well, we hit the streets of Accra to speak to fans on the expectations at the end of the season for the top four in terms of the EPL 2025-26 season. And here's what they had to say.
I think that Liverpool is going to take back-to-back because me, I'm a Liverpool fan. So, but the top four, the Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, West Ham. So I think that Liverpool, for the last season, our form is very, very good. And then this season, I think that so far as I'm Liverpool fans, so far as I have to support my team. So
my expectation for EPL coming season is, well, I will tip Chelsea as part of the top four. So Chelsea number one, Arsenal number two, Liverpool number three, Number 4, Man City.
Man City.
Yeah.
So no Spurs, no Newcastle, no Aston Villa.
Well, Spurs, Newcastle can battle for 5th, 6th, 7th position.
And no Manchester United too.
Manchester, no. Looking at their current performance and the couple of players they have, I doubt they could make it in the top.
Which player will you be looking at being the best player at the end of the season?
Best player at the end of the season. Salah is still on form. He's still playing active football. Yes, Joao Pedro, another exciting talent. Marmoush is a City player.
Yeah.
He's another talent we should look out for. Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
Palmer is still in the game. So.
Okay. All right.
I think City will be the league winners, followed by Arsenal second, Liverpool third, and Chelsea fourth.
But City have not had a good. They didn't have a good season in the previous year. What makes you think that they'll bounce back and win the title this year?
Well, I think Pep is trying to figure out the loopholes in the team last season. So he will improve. He's already a proven coach, so he knows the Premier League better. So I think he's gonna fix it.
But the challenge is that last season Rodri was injured, and that's why people say it affected your team's performance. This season as well, he's not well fit. He's not too fit. Don't you think that will also affect the team again if you want to win the league?
Oh no, I don't think, because Pep have already bought a DM, defensive midfielder, so I think Tijani Rangers can also play there. So
Okay.
A little bit fixing. They can do the role of Rodri together.
So for you, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
So no Man United, no Spurs, no Newcastle, no Villa.
No, I don't. Because this season, the way the top teams are preparing, I don't see them.
Okay, so I think the top 4, Liverpool will try to defend the title, the league title again, and with their new signings, new strikers, and they are trying to strengthen every department, the defense and all that. So I think probably they might win the league again and also be in the top 4. Second, I think Chelsea. Yeah, so with their signings and their preseason performances, so they are likely to be in the top 4 again. Chelsea. And third, Arsenal once again. They will always prove that they want to win the league and all that, so they will be in the top 4. And Manchester City too will try to bounce back from their worst performance last season too. The top 4 is assured for these 4 teams.
So no place for Manchester United and no place for Mohamed Kudus' Spurs.
Manchester United are still trying to build a team. So with their new signings, Yungumo, Sesko, they are trying to adapt and all that. And the coach will find it difficult to maintain their positions and all that. So I think top 10, they will be inside top 10, but not top 10. And Kudus, Tottenham too, they losing Son will also affect the team performances a bit. And they might also be in the top 10 for sure.
Straight up is Liverpool. Straight up.
What makes you think that Liverpool are going
Liverpool
to do
is in good form. They are in good form. They are preparing well. They are learning from their mistakes day by day, match by match. They are picking up. They are not sleeping.
And then tell us your other 3 teams that will join Liverpool for the top 4.
Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City.
So no Manchester United, no Spurs.
Manchester may, if not for some help, they may go to relegation.
Manchester United will go to relegation.
If not for some help, maybe some help will come. Because they are a traditional team, so they'll definitely get some help to keep them in the league. But without those traditional help, no, Manchester is good for relegation.
But United have.
Manchester will never win will never join the top 4 to Jesus counts. Mark it anywhere.
Hey, no, but they've signed Brian Mbeumo.
They can go and sign Angel Gabriel. They are not going anywhere. Manchester is going down. They have a deep-rooted problem which they are failing to address.
And what is the problem?
It is player coach management.
Oh, okay.
It's a player coach management. You understand? Some of the players are not happy. No matter what they do, the managers must sit down and iron every last issue they have. Look at all the coaches they've had. From the special one, Mourinho coming to... How many coaches haven't they have? What's your say?
No Spurs, so Kudu's team will not make it to the top 4.
They may, but right now, no, you have top guys, so, but Spurs may come around 5th.
Oh, I think that Liverpool is going to take back-to-back because I'm a Liverpool fan. So, but the top 4, the Liverpool, Chelsea.
Well, so that was area take there where we spoke to fans of the EPL who shared expectations on top of the top 4. The one that stuck out for me was the guy who says that mark it anywhere, Manchester United are nowhere close to the top 4. Well, that's an interesting comment there from him. But that marks the end of area take. The next segment,
Gino Magic
to the issues of Ghana football and look at what issues that bother us. Well, for tonight's Ghana focused conversation, we'll be looking at the Ghana League Clubs Association GALCA Top 4 tournament, which is currently ongoing at the University of Ghana Stadium. Initially, it was supposed to have gone on at the Accra Sports Stadium. In fact, initially it was slated for Kumasi, then it was rescheduled for Accra Sports Stadium. Now, the National Sports Authority says that the Accra Sports Stadium is to be used for Black Stars games solely between September and October, and so now they've allocated the University of Ghana Sports Stadium as the venue for the GALCA Top 4 tournament. First match ended today, Asante Kotoko losing by 2-1 to Bibiani Gold Stars there. And then tonight, Hearts of Oak taking on Hearts of Lions. I think that was the very match we saw on Sunday in the Homowa Cup, which Hearts of Oak won by 2-0. I've still got Mohamed Sharif here with me. First of all, Sharif, does it surprise you? Asante Kotoko, I think they took the lead against Gold Stars, and now Gold Stars did a comeback. We saw an own goal from Kotoko, and now Gold Stars have won their first match in the GALCA Top 4. Your thoughts?
I think I'm not surprised about it because when you look at Kotoko, even though they've been very good after winning the league and then also going ahead to win the Presidential Cup and the other cup as well. So for me, I'm not surprised. Coming into this game, I think there's a bit of fatigue because they've not had enough time to rest. They've been playing other tournaments as well, so I think they've not had enough time. Looking at the Benin Gold Stars, they've been having a lot of time to train with their coach and then prepare for the next season as well. But my only concern was how the game turned out on the field of play. Kotoko took the lead, and then when you look at the own goal Kotoko conceded, as a professional footballer and as a professional goalkeeper, I don't think that yes, you don't need to be conceding such a goal. And you see, I don't know who to blame here because the defender was giving a pass to the goalkeeper, and when you look at where he was standing and he gave the pass, there was a bit of distance. And as usual, when keepers are receiving the pass, they are not in the middle of the pool. They are always at the edge of it so that they can receive the pass. In case the ball is going out and they can't do anything with it, they will leave it so that it go out of play. But with this one, I think the defender didn't look at the position of the goalkeeper. He just passed the ball to the goalkeeper, and you see, as a defender, you don't pass the ball to the goalkeeper when he's not in the middle of the post. You pass the ball when the goalkeeper wasn't in the middle, and the goalkeeper too, he was chasing the ball. Instead of him to at least slide and clear the ball, he also didn't slide. He was just chasing the ball. Some may argue that at least because this is a GALCA tournament or is a pre-season match, the goalkeeper should have, even if he cannot play the ball, he could have just let's say dive and then touch the ball, and then there will be an indirect free kick just to protect or protect their lead. But the goalkeeper also didn't do that. He just left the ball and then it went into the net. So that was one thing that stood out for me, and I was thinking that no, as professional footballers, this should not be happening in the game.
Okay, let's look at the Hearts of Oak already beat Hearts of Lions over the weekend 2-0 at the Accra Sports Stadium. They're meeting them again. What do you think will be the mood for Hearts of Lions, especially because they did well last season? Hearts of Oak not necessarily, I think Hearts of Oak pedigree-wise they are up there, but over the last few years they haven't been up there. Last season was a torrid time, and that's how come Coach Ouattara has had to leave for Coach Didi Dramani. What do you make of Didi Dramani's time so far at Kotoko? He lost the President's Cup, but he won the Home World Cup. Sorry, at Hearts of Oak. What do you make of Didi Dramani's time there? And do you think he'll be able to imbibe in the players the football education that he has accumulated over the years?
I think he'll be able to do that. When you look at House of Oak, I've always said that on paper they have some very good players on paper. The only issue has been with coaching, and also sometimes from the strikers' perspective. Sometimes they create a lot of chances, but they fail to score. When you look at House of Oak play, anytime they are creating a lot of chances, but they don't take those chances. And then also when you look at their defense as well, they have individually brilliant defenders, but the errors are too much. Sometimes a defender like Kevin, for instance, he's always making some mistakes. When you look at the game against Kotoko, for instance, he committed some error, and he has been consistent with his errors. And he's one of the finest defenders in the league. So at his pedigree, I don't expect him to be making such errors. But he has been doing that for quite some time now, and I don't think it's helping the club as well. But for Didi Dramani, I think that he's already a winner. We've seen what he has done already with Kumasi Asante Kotoko, with the Ghana national teams, even the female side as well. So we've seen what he can do. For me, I strongly believe that going into the next season, House of Oak is going to be one of the title contenders, unlike what we've seen the previous season. And when you look at the game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, before he took over, I think that the game came too early for him to meet Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It came too early because Kotoko have had enough time with Karim Zito, and they had some game time in the Ghana Premier League as well. But for Didi Dramani, Ouattara ended the season and he came in. And he came in at a time the team wasn't performing that well, and he was able to coach the team. I think they gave a good account of themselves in that particular tournament. And when you look at the Home World Cup, for instance, they did so much well. And I think that if they are able to perform very well in this GACA Top 4 tournament, they'll be able to carry that particular performance to next season's Ghana Premier League, and it's going to help the team as well.
Well, so today is Wednesday, 20th August, and so we would put the fixtures there. Earlier, Asante Kotoko lost to Gold Stars by 2-1, and then Hearts of Oak are also taking on Hearts of Lions. Then on Friday, August 22nd, Gold Stars will play their second match when they take on Accra Hearts of Oak at the University of Ghana Stadium, and then in the evening at 8 p.m. or at 6 p.m. Hearts of Lions will take on Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and then on Sunday, Gold Stars will take on Hearts of Lions, and then Asante Kotoko, the big one at 6 p.m. will take on Hearts of Oak. So it's almost like an all-player sort of tournament. At the end of the day, each team would have met all the other participants. Your expectation at the end of this season, at the end of this tournament, are you looking at a tournament where the coaches are looking at generally assessing their players and using this tournament as a yardstick in terms of selecting their players for the next season, or you believe that this is an opportunity for some of these coaches to use as an opportunity to actually win some silverware ahead of the main GPL season?
I think for the only team that I think that it will not be an opportunity to win a major silverware is House of Oak. For them, I think Didi Dramani is supposed to use this opportunity to assess his team and then get his first 11, and then the players he would like to work with, get his message to the players as well. But for the other teams, I think the beginning Gold Stars are okay, Kotoko are also okay, and then Heart of Lions. For me, Heart of Lions are my team of the season, because coming into the league, nobody expected them to do so much well. I listened to their PRO, and then the beginning of the season, their major concern was to stay in the Ghana Premier League, but they ended up challenging for the title, and it got to a point where their aim was just the top 4 to qualify for the top. Initially they wanted to be in the top 6, and then they changed that narrative to be in the top 4, and then it got to a point where they had the belief that they can actually go on to win the league. So for me, I think they did so much well, and going into next season, they are not going to see themselves as top 4 targets anymore. They are going to see themselves as title contenders, and that makes the league more interesting because there will be Kotoko, and then there will be House of Folk, and also Bibiani Gold Stars as well, and then there will be Accra Lions, Pandu Heart of Lions fighting for the trophy as well. So I think it's going to be a very interesting competition next season.
Well, give me your. What team do you think will win this title?
I think House of Folk will win.
Hearts of Folk.
Yes.
But I thought you were saying, you're making the point that this is a time where sort of Coach Didi Dramani will be looking at now assessing the players and seeing which players are fit for duty. Meanwhile, Kotoko and the Crimes to have had have had a longer span of time together, and so by this time he knows the squad. And you believe that somebody who is now experimenting with these players,
I think that
stands a better chance?
Yes, I think that he has had enough time with them. Looking at the game he played against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, that will give him some sort of insight from the Asante Kotoko team. He already played the Homoho Cup with Heart of Lions to also give him another insight into that particular team. And then he has assessed the Bibiani Gold Stars team already. And when you look at House of Folk, for instance, you see this is a new manager, and whenever there is a new manager, there is a new manager bounce. Players are fighting to be in his setup, and so for me, with this particular tournament, anybody who gets the opportunity to be in his lineup will try to fight so hard to remain in that particular lineup for the next game, and then subsequently be in the ultimate lineup for next season. So based on this, I think that they are going to give a lot more as compared to the other players who are in the established teams, because the established teams, some of them have already known that they are in the starting lineup already. But with House of Folk, you are now going to justify your inclusion in the team. You are now going to show why Didi Dramani must trust you and then field you in his first 11. And so it's going to give them some sort of belief that, look, if I don't perform well, I might not be able to make the first 11 of the coach. So let me perform well. And I think based on that, they'll be able to push forward and then win the tournament as well.
Well, that is Sheriff Mohammed there, our sports analyst and guest for tonight's Sports World Show, sharing his thoughts on the Gaka Top 4 tournament, which is currently ongoing, which has Hearts of Folk, Hearts of Lions, Bibiani Gold Stars, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Well, that's the end of Ghana Focus. This is still Sports World on ABC. I'm EUGENE OFORI SOTTIE. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hey, so mommy, who is going to do my wade jollof?
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah. Efia.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now, add your Chino jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof soko.
Jollof soko. Tasty nye.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
When
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Avoiding injuries, easy. Winning, easy, Charlie. But you know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. You get everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water, then sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy, made easy. As I be street footballer, Gary at the top. Now we attend Starboy. Still Gary at the top. I travel go abroad. Kivo Gary at the top. Kivo Gary, he the bio. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Mini Ojo, from the connection man. Yope biya meso too. Come.
Mate, Pacho Mishabu Sukanka.
Fukawi. See what kiosk number 22. That's all your brajo. Oh, that's so too. So yes. Mommy, you show our unya so well. Hello. You show our uko boats. See what last stop. That's all your Sister Rose. Hold up. Sister Rose, Mr. No customer. So to the mommy. Also, unya so spot. See what circle. Boys me. Nyanya walk up. You killer. Sound. Bro, I had the from 6 p.m. Shut. That's so too.
When we connect our energies, great things happen. Connect to a world of amazing and endless possibility with Telecel. Telecel, connecting lifestyle, connecting passions, connecting dreams.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Welcome back from the break. This is still ABC Sports World. I am Eugene OFORI. Remember that this show is actually sponsored by Betway, and Betway says it's time to get rewarded as the next big sports betting influencer with Betway. Place bets and share your codes with friends, fans, and followers. If they place bets using your code, you earn 4% of their wager. Doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. You earn cash if they bet. So make sure that you bet, you share the code with your friends and fans. They share it and you also share it. So no matter whether there's a win or a loss, you earn some part of the money. And the more people that bet with your code, the more you earn. Start betting, sharing, and winning with the Bet Influencer exclusive to Bet. Remember that always terms and conditions apply. Betway, and remember that this is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Well, still on that, let's give you some few matches to look forward to. Manchester City will be taking on Tottenham Hotspur over this weekend. We are going for over 1.5. Also, we'll see Chelsea taking on West Ham. We'll go for a Chelsea win as well there, and well as a few other games we would get for you there. So remember that Chelsea would, we are predicting a Chelsea win over West Ham. We're also predicting that Manchester City and Spurs game, there will be more than 2 goals. And then Bournemouth taking on Wolves, we predict a win for Bournemouth. Then Arsenal taking on Leeds, we predict a win for Arsenal. Fulham taking on Manchester United, we predict a win for Fulham. Then Newcastle taking on Liverpool on Monday, we predict more than 2 goals in that particular game. So well, that's it in terms of our fixtures, selected fixtures for this weekend's upcoming games. Well, it's been a brilliant show and an exciting show with Mohammed Sheriff here. We're almost wrapping up the show. Sheriff, what are your thoughts on today's show and your debut here on the show?
I think I've had a nice day here, and it's a brilliant show as well because it cuts across a lot of major sports disciplines. We didn't look at the European matches alone. We look at Ghana as well. And if we had more time, we would have talked about the police ladies as well. So clearly it tells you that we've been very diverse when it comes to these sporting activities. So it's been a good show so far for me.
Well, thank you very much for also honoring our invitation. Unfortunately, James McKeown wasn't here, but next week we promise that McKeown will be here as well, and then we'll have about 3 members on the show and have a proper in-depth panel discussions as well. But before we go, Mohammed mentioned police ladies. Earlier in the week, we visited the training ground of police ladies, and then we had an interview. We filmed their training and had an interview with their coach, Yusuf Basigi, and also the assistant coach as well. But as we wrap up the show, thank you very much for your time. When we wrap up the show, that interview with police ladies comes up next. Have a good evening.
Keep. Yeah. The rest, the ball side. The rest go to the ball side. The rest to the ball side. Oh, you got the ball in check, okay? Good, good. Nice one, Salah.
We think together, then before we work on, and that is how we are going to carry through to the matches as well. So that makes it so easy for us.
Well, the draw just came not too long ago. What are your thoughts on the draw and your thoughts on how easy or how difficult it has made our work and progression towards clinching our first ever CAF Champions League as a country?
We are not underrating any country or any club that is coming, because we are all potentials of winners, because that is why they've chosen the best to come and meet. So we are not underrating any team, and we are not overconfident in any way. We are just focused, and then now that the draw is in, we are taking match after match. We want to see which team we are playing. We strategize against the team, then we move on to the next, on and on and on. If not more, because currently, if you look at the police team and comparing to exactly this one we went, this team, we have players who have played the World Cup. That is the apex of every tournament. They have played about 3 times, 2 times, and we have them here, about 5 of them. So this tells you that we have chunk of experienced players here to blend up with the up and coming ones. It's going to be easy.
Back to you, Coach. Coach Yusuf Basigi has just said that you're one of the most serious coaches he has worked with. What does it mean for you, and how so far has the experience been working with Coach Basigi?
Yeah, he's a brother. Yeah, and one of the most knowledgeable. Of course, I'm honored to work under him. There are a lot of lessons I will learn from him that I will learn from the coaching training. Experience is priceless, and he just shared it with me for free. So this, I'm very, very honored. For me, I'm passionate about football. So when I have the opportunity to learn, I learn. Okay, I have been getting tips and bits from him, not even today. Did back years. When I don't understand anything in football, I just call him. Say, what I say, do this, do that, do this, do that. And he understands the system. He's coached almost all these girls. All the experienced players here have passed through his hands in the national team. So for him being here, it's like homecoming. And also being with me is not new because the relationship's already there. So for me, he's telling me I'm serious. Well, it's a plus, and thank you very much. But then it's somebody that if I'm working under, I must show that I'm a very serious person, so that he knows that this is the kind of person I am. Wherever he finds himself and he wants to do a recommendation, you will not have any problem recommending me for anything. You don't need recommendation. I just bring you there.
Have you spoken to the hierarchy in terms of the Ghana Police Service, and have they given you their expectations of you ahead of the tournament? Have they given you the KPIs, their key performance indicators, what they'll be looking out for? Maybe at least get to the semi-final or bring the trophy, or else are there any expectations?
There's something that Ghanaians don't know about this current administration. The IGP was a footballer.
Oh, okay.
Unbelievable winger.
Oh, okay.
He used to play as a left winger. Excellent. When he's moving, just look at the way he walks. So he understands football.
Okay.
So he knows, telling us, we expect you to bring the cup, we'll bring until there wasn't a pressure on the team. So he doesn't mention, just go out there and then give it your best. And whatever you want, just come back and ask. We'll see what we can do about it.
Well,
so the support he gives us is amazing.
Finally, before we go, for you, what would you say will be a successful tournament, or what would be the markers for you to say this was a successful tournament?
When we qualify for the next stage.
All right. Thank you very much.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abin.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.